Yes, we are here. It is live, and you are going to be seeing some wonderful queens. My name is Barbara J. Beckley. I'm the Diamond Factor Media, Diamond Factor LLC, just a visionary to help others, especially women, to get themselves, their purpose, what they do in the world changers out there. This is just one of many shows that I have sponsored and created because it's all about them. I know everybody say, well, it's all about you. Yeah, it's all about me. Yeah, I get that. But if I'm talking about visibility for others, then it's all about me and them. Get it? So with that said, I just want to welcome everybody. We're going to be bringing on the queens in like 2 minutes. No, 1 minute. I just wanted to kind of just let everybody know this is a new year. Happy New Year to everybody. We're starting off strong. Just to remind everybody that this particular show comes on every first Thursday, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And I always tell people, please look at the other time zones. There's just so many out there. But those are the two basic ones. And this particular panel we talk about every month is different topics, either regarding your business, personal life, both. Just having some, talking about mindset issues, or not issues, but challenges, all different type of topics that, we go through especially women that are working, women that are at home with their children, women are out there, in corporate, wherever you're at. We come here as a collective experts in all different areas. Each queen has their own expertise, and we all gel together and we talk about different topics. Tonight's topic is going to be about everybody's talking about setting their goals right now. That's the big thing in January. Did you set your goals? I always tell people, hopefully you did that before January, but that's a whole nother show. But if you're setting your goals, what kind of healthy boundaries are you setting for yourself to achieve those goals moving forward? It's one thing to say, I have an action plan and everything, but it's another thing to say, am I ready to say no to that certain individual, or maybe I shouldn't do that at a certain period of time? We're going to talk more and get more detail about that and see what every queen says about that particular topic. And, sometimes we branch off in other things, but I will hopefully make sure we stay on cue. But with that, we are going to come to the queens. We'll be right back. And we have a new background.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to start every year. You want to get higher and higher, right? Improve what you're doing. So wonderful queens tonight. I love seeing your faces. Happy New Year to each and every one of you, from me to you. How are we doing this evening? Do I hear everybody?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
That was on sync. I like that. Okay, now let's sing. No, I'm just kidding.
We practiced while we were off camera.
Oh, Carol, you were in the struggle. Thank you. See, that's what I like. Leadership at its best. So before we start, we know the drill, and just let everybody know out there, I always want to make sure everybody knows the queen and what they do. And basically, at the end, we always make sure you get their information to contact them, because it's one thing we talk, we have our little discussion, but each and every person has their own business here. And that's what I love, to make sure that you get that exposure. You know who they are, and you reach out to them if you need them. And if you don't need them, somebody else in your world might. So don't just say, well, I don't need them, so I don't need to contact. No, reach out a little bit farther, look in your network and see if, these wonderful queens can help you out in that certain area. So we'll just kind of start going around. I kind of did my little introduction a little bit at the beginning, so I'm just going to move it to the next person. Whoever wants to go first, you are welcome, and then we'll get into our discussion. So, okay, Barbara.
just because we have a great name,
Yes.
the babies. Anyways,
You just
my
want
name
to
is
go
Barbara.
before me.
What?
You just want to go before me so you can tell them everything.
No. Are you kidding? Would I do that? Anyways, I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm a transformational life trainer, and I motivate baby boomers to be active, vital, and prosperous so that they age gracefully.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Well, Carol, you want to go next since
Since I'm giving Barbara trouble. Yes. My name's Carol Henderson, and I have Life by Design. And I help people to live the second half of their life better than the first half of your life. And it doesn't matter. You never know when that second half's going to start. So you might as well start living it now. And I help people to up their nutritional IQ, their mental IQ, different things so that they can spiral up in their life instead of spiraling down.
Love it, lady. And who's next? We have 3 more people.
I'll go.
Okay.
My name is Renee Bubetz, and I am a realtor, professional realtor for 34 years, and I do residential and commercial. And you talk about IQ. I try to help people raise their financial IQ, I guess it is, and educate, give people information that will help them in over a course of a lifetime and what they can create and achieve. That's my shtick.
Awesome. Love you. Okay. This is Karen or America Supermom.
I'll go since you were talking about awesome. And that's what I am. What can I say? Awesome life success. That's what it's all about. We all want an awesome life. And I'm recovering. I was a reformed. Now I'm back to recovering people pleaser and self-doubter. And I provide online service professionals means to enjoy life, to move forward in their business by breaking through those blocks, those hangups, and they can have an awesome lifestyle business.
All right. Great stuff, guys. It's good to meet some of you that I haven't had a chance to meet. And Barbara, thank you so much for hosting this platform. I am America's Supermom. I am the mother of 15 children. And I help women with the challenges of navigating through chaos and turning that into confidence. I've overcome 13 years of depression and 3 hospitalizations. And mental wellness is the topic that I am most passionate about. And I'm excited to be here tonight.
Good.
Well, I'm excited for everyone to be here, especially, well, everybody, but America Supermom. She hasn't been here for a while. So welcome back. And hopefully you can some of the ones for the new year. Love to always have everybody here to discuss the topics. And, everybody brings their genius here. Everybody brings their expertise. And that's what I love because, we're not on our own island. We shouldn't be alone on our own island saying, okay, I know everything because I know I don't. I'll raise my first and second hand and say, I need some help. I'm not good in this or this.
You got it.
So when we all come together and I listen to what you queens have to say about certain subjects, I'm like taking notes. I have my pad of paper. I don't know about anybody else. But so before we get into our topic, see, Karen does too. Yep. So before we get into our topic, I want to remind people again that if you're just chiming in, this is the Diamond Perspective Panel Live. We come on first Thursdays of every month. Unless there's a tornado around my house or whatever's going on, then that won't happen. And even with that, I'll try to basically delegate to somebody to make sure we have this show because I believe it's very important to hear us talk about the different topics. Also, our topic tonight is going to be talking about around healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries when you're moving towards your goals, your dreams, everything, your objectives, how you want to call it in your life. What do those look like to you? And I'm going to ask each queen here on their end. But I always have a quote. Barbara Ellis knows I love quotes. So I want to bring up a quote. I'm going to share the screen real quick. And it's kind of like gives the foundation of what we talk about. So let's share this real quickly, and hopefully, because I was trying to make it okay. Did everybody see? Yeah. So daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I want to kind of let's soak in that a little bit. And like I said, we could take the talk and move it to the avenues within boundaries. But I thought that was very interesting because a lot of times, and I'm just going to start off and then I'll just let people go from there. You know, you create boundaries where you say, okay, I got to create this boundary to make sure I get this done. And in the back of your mind, ooh, I might be disappointing America Supermom, or I might be disappointing Karen. So maybe I need to tweak that boundary, or not even put the boundary. Let me just forget. I'll do it. That's okay. I'll just work on it. And then next thing you know, you're taxing yourself. You're not getting things done because now you're trying to please to a certain extent, whereas getting into your self-care, getting into your vibe of what you're trying to do. So that's interesting. So it's kind of a thin line there. So I want to kind of hear a take from each individual here about healthy boundaries and how you deal with them.
I just want to start by saying that why it is so important to set a boundary, and for ourselves and for others. Because I can remember calling Carol one day and going, "I've got so much to do. I don't know what to do." One of those we're just told because I had not set a boundary for myself of just can't say no. No is a complete sentence. And I had just taken on probably four too many things. And then, of course, got caught and went. But what happens when you get into that, though, it's like your brain just shuts down. And then you can't do anything. And that was exactly how I felt. That I had so much to do that I didn't know what to do. It just wasn't. So that's why it's so important to put a boundary, especially on yourself, of like how long you're going to spend and what you're going to do. Yes. How many things are you going to say yes to?
I love this topic because this was something that I really had challenges with, in terms of my journey. And one of the things I just want to say about a boundary today is that it's really for my protection more so than anybody else. And, I think it's just like if you know that you have a certain amount of time and you have certain projects that have to be done, no one else knows what's on your plate. So it's up to you to set a priority with the limits that you place on other people, just thinking that you're available, and as a mom with a number of kids, I work from home. So they just think, oh, you know what? I forgot my lunch, or I forgot my after school gear for practice. I can just call mom and she can just bring it, And so when you set a boundary, it helps people to respect your time and your resources, because those are the things that if you continue to make it available for other people, they're not going to have a light bulb that says, I should ask and consider if they have anything else going on. It's just like the person that calls you and just starts saying everything they want to say without saying, oh, I'm sorry, did I catch you at a bad time? Or can you talk right now just because you answer the phone? So I think one of the main things that has been important for me in terms of boundaries is remembering that it's not for the other person, but it's for me to make sure that I prioritize the things that I know that I have to have done in order to be the best version of myself.
And real quickly, I like how you said that, because I think that goes back to what talking about risking disappointing others. So if you're not taking care of yourself and doing your self-care, then you can't really help others if you're kind of all all over the place, or, just like, I just need some rest, or whatever the case may be. So I kind of explain that to an individual when they want to start wanting to, because I had a few clients that pointed out, say, well, what do you mean you're going to wait till next week, or you're going to take 24 hours to answer email? I said, because I have to make sure that I answer your email the right way to give all the value that you need from me. So in order to do that, I need a 24-hour turnaround time. So I flip it, and they're like, oh, okay, so you're taking time. Yes, for you. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, I'm doing some self-care too. I'm creating a boundary. So yeah, so I think that, like you said, America's Supermom, you got to do the self. You have to have that self-care to remind you.
And you brought up a good point too, because people think that because you're doing something you're passionate about, that it just doesn't seem like it's work for you. And so, for example, I have a daughter who sings, and so I would have these events or find out about things where people needed a singer, and I would say, oh, my daughter can sing. And then I'd say, can you sing at this event? And she's like, Mom, I just can't do that, because she has to learn the music, whatever version that they want or whatever. And so she doesn't want to perform just off the cuff. She wants to do a great performance. So sometimes when we see that people are gifted in things, or we see that as them being an expert, we think that it's not any work that goes into it because they make it look easy. And so we just think that they can just stand up and just go. So that's another thing to think about as well.
I wanted to chime in on that one because I agree 100%. For me, I can only take on so many clients at a time, because if you take on too many, I have to do all this research. I have to find the property. I have to make the appointments. I have to get them out there, and so on. And so if you have so many people that you're providing bad service because you're so stressed out because there's another one waiting right behind them, you come across as a ditzy agent. And there's a lot of agents out there, and you have to come across very, that you can totally take care of the client, that they are number one, and give them the time and the respect that they deserve. And so that's really key for me is just making sure that I allot the appropriate amount of time, that I don't get too many people so that at one time, so that I'm not overwhelmed, because then I can't think properly. I think for me, as I get older, I get a little more overwhelmed than I used to if I do that to myself. So it's called self-care, as you said, Barbara. And, just doing what that you're capable of doing so that you can do an excellent job and get referrals so that you can continue to get more clients.
I love that you mentioned that, Renee, and America's Supermom. The fact is, the way I look at personal boundaries, healthy boundaries, it's a matter of respect for yourself and respect for your clients or the people around you. If you do not have those healthy boundaries, as you were saying, you just get stressed out, especially as we get older. I don't know about you ladies, but I don't learn quite as quickly as I might have when I was a kid. And although that was a difficult time too, but enough said about that. It's important to set those boundaries for your own sanity, because it is not going to be beneficial if you don't. So the important thing is, how do you do it without hurting yourself or somebody else? And to me, it's kind of easy. It's basically loving yourself, respecting yourself. Because when you respect yourself, you're showing that you also respect others, and others will respect you.
Yes, self-care is so critical because, like for me, we were talking about as you age, it gets a little harder. Well, for me, I find that if I'm not doing something repetitively, I can forget it. You do it once and then it's months before you do it again. And then I may have forgotten how to do that. So boundaries to me is being ready and prepared for your client, knowing that you've done all the homework, whatever it is that you need to do to take care of that client so that you're giving them 100%. And I think that there's a lot of things that go into that, and picking the right clients. I've also learned that in doing this for 34 years, that there are sometimes I meet somebody that I don't think is a good fit. And, I really don't think I have to explain that too much because you probably all met somebody like that. But I now will tell that person, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm the right person to help you, and let them, I can refer you to someone else or something because they are obnoxious or whatever their problem is, right? They know more than everybody else. And, I learn from my clients. I'm not saying that some of them don't, they do know more than I do. They've been investing for many, many years. And I've met many that have educated me through the years, but it's the ones that just don't have any respect for you. So you or your time. And that's really important. So that's another boundary, is making sure you don't have people that don't respect your time. And I want to say to America's Supermom, I don't know your first name, but did you say 10 children that you had?
I have 15 and 10 still live at home.
Are these all yours, or they're foster? Or
yeah, I had 13, me and my husband together, and then 2 are my stepchildren.
Well, I want to say congratulations, because that's a lot. I just was standing with my mouth open here when you said that. I was like, what? How many? And you still work? Like, how do you do that? You must have some really good boundaries.
She sets boundaries.
Prayer. Yeah, hey, I learned the hard way how not to do things. So now I have lots of wisdom on how I can help other people avoid what I went through.
I imagine you would. That's a lot of children. God has blessed you, obviously, but that's amazing.
Well, I was an only child.
You were. Wow.
So every time you say that, I was like, oh my God. So like the universe came back around and said, okay, now for you being
every prayer I prayed, I got answered myself, right? Because I always
want a really large
for a
family?
brother or sister. Yeah.
Was that something you wanted? Was a really large family?
We wanted 5 and ended up with 15. So go figure. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I want to go back to what Renee said and have some other queens talk about this, which I really loved, because I had to learn the hard way too about putting boundaries with clients that are really not my client. And basically telling them, you know what, this might not be a fit for us, but I know, this other individual. And then sometimes I have to even say, you know what, everybody in my network, I don't really know if it's going to gel with what you're trying to do. And the reason why I do that sometimes is because the attitude that they have. Why would I want to send somebody a problem? I would not want to send neither one of these queens on this panel.
Thank you.
See, Carol, like, thank you so much. So it's just like, okay, I'm gonna put my garbage over to somebody else, and no, I'm not gonna do that. So just to talk a little bit about that, because sometimes you gotta say, you know what, you might not, even though you have somebody that can help them in your network, but you also saying, I respect my network.
Yeah. I had a client once that no matter what I said to her, she said, well, I already know that. And it's like, okay, yeah, fine. And then I was like, yeah, there was no way that I was going to refer her to anybody else because she already knew everything. Mm-hmm. And so when you have, and that's about, and the thing is that's a negative boundary that she had set on herself. Mm-hmm. That she already knew that. So don't ever do that to yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the things that I pride myself on is learn something new every day. Like, whether it's a history thing or a health thing or whatever, what somebody has done, things that I watch little things to see what other people are doing, because if you don't open yourself up, if you put a boundary on yourself that you're not going to learn, then you're never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You have to be open and allow. You just have to be open and allowing, because it doesn't matter how much you do know. So many people I've talked to are asking to have me hire them as a client or as being their client. And it's interesting to me because indeed, I know what they're saying. I've been around here a long time. They don't know that I've been around here as long as I have. So I have seen it. I have seen it. But always there is something to learn. So I will never, ever say to them, yeah, done that, know that. Because if you know it, if you really, truly, honestly know it, you wouldn't be in this situation in the first place.
Ooh, that's good.
Ooh, that's a nugget.
Yeah, that's a mic drop.
Yeah.
So there's always something to learn. And again, it is the respect of their time and my time that I want to let them know, yeah, I know that comment. I had somebody the other day send me a note of, hey, I can do this for you at this price, or I can do this at this, which I think is an even better. And I thought, well, I can say, yeah, I do the same thing. Or I could say, hey, we have the same coach, don't we? That was the last she said anything.
Well, I have, for me, I found, especially in the commercial world, because commercial agents, the ones that I've done business with so far, are pretty difficult to deal with. They know it all. And when I first started doing commercial, they don't like women. It's an old boys club. And I can tell you, when I come across a client that knows it all or that I don't think is a good fit for me, I send them to one of them so that they can see how obnoxious they are, right? So,
Mirroring.
need to learn.
I love that.
It is,
you don't buy in
it's
the
a sweet
mirror.
revenge, right? I
Send
send them
the,
back.
client.
I get to refer them to somebody else and let somebody else have the headache, because commercial agents, there's more women getting in now, which is great. I haven't had a chance to work with another woman I'm looking forward to on the commercial side. But I'm telling you, those agents are tough on the commercial side, really tough. So it's a pleasure to send them somebody like that. I get great joy.
That's like another way. Okay, you don't want to, the people that you like your network, you're not going to send them, but the people that needs a lesson learned, you'll probably send them that client.
And they think I'm great because I'm sending them a referral, right? Even though they didn't like me in the deal, they think I'm so fantastic to send them a client. But wait till they get a chance to work with them.
But isn't it wonderful? We all have the different personalities.
Right.
So we know, even though they're not right for us because there is no clicking there, there is somebody out there for them. So it might be exactly what they need, but they did not recognize the fact that it was a personality or an energetic connection that was not being met talking to any one of us. So being able to say, hey, here's a good mirror, and maybe they like that mirror. Maybe it is the perfect energetic connection.
Exactly. That's what I think. And then I think I don't hear anything from them, so I don't know how it really went. But, I wanted it to kind of shine a mirror so that they can see how they've come across to others, because even though, like you had said, Barbara, about, something. I mean, I've had people tell me things I already know, but to me, that's kind of demeaning. Oh, I knew that. I mean, it's how you say it. It's what you say. And there's a different perspective. Like you and I may know the same thing, but it's your perspective and your take and how you see it versus mine can be completely different, but yet it's the same knowledge, right? But there may be a better perspective or a different way to use that information that would work better given by someone else that, has a different viewpoint. So for me, I just, I take it all in stride, and I think I'm going to listen to how they see it. And I can possibly learn something that would improve my life or my way of doing business or whatever it is that they're trying to teach me,
Change your perspective, change your truth.
And that's why it's so important, having a network like this that I'm in with all you wonderful queens, to know what you do, to really understand what your business and what you do, because we can help each other. And when we do come across that client or that person comes say, hey, Barbara, can you teach me about marketing and, teach me about this and that? And I know between right here, America Supermom, just using her example, she is just a genius to me in that area, and I know she
Over
takes
the top. Yeah.
over the top, and she can take them to the next level. If I know I can't take them to the next level, because you want to have
Right.
integrity, then you want to send them somebody that's going to get them to that next level. You might only do so much because you know so much, or that's your expertise in that area, but you know another person that can be even higher for them. Not putting yourself down, but that's what they do, and you'll send them to that person. So that's why it's so important to understand each other's genius and gifts that we have. So when those boundaries happen, we can say, okay, I'm going to send them to Renee because I know she's awesome when it comes to commercial, when it comes to real estate and stuff. Or I know Barbara, you want and you want awesome, go to Karen, And Carol, if you want your whole body looking like you were feeling like you were 16, go to Carol.
Yep.
So that's good to know each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on
This
mute.
is the time of the year. This is the time of the year to set boundaries and transform your life. And there are some things out there you can do that are really outstanding and make a major turnaround in like 8 weeks. And in an easy manner, not in a
Right.
go to the gym for 10 hours a day and eat carrot sticks. That's not my jam.
I
Barbara
was not
can tell
born a
you.
rabbit. So yeah, that doesn't work.
Or
What- you-
releasing the traumas that you have gone through for all those years, all that time, just trying to, and doing it gently instead of having to relive the trauma all the time. And that
Exactly.
unfortunately is the way most of us have to go through, just reliving it over and over again without ever finding a solution. That's not the way awesome life success works. You have to find the solution, move forward, and do it in a gentle way. Like you said, Carol, do it in a gentle way that is not going to be a huge shock to the system, but in a very short order. And my work can be in as little as 10 weeks. Release that trauma, release that block, that
Right.
angst that will move you, skyrocket you, eliminate physical pain, eliminate mental pain, because we are all mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
And when we
Yes.
get those aligned, we are awesome. Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
I wanted to build off of what you had said, Barbara, because I think that actually for me was a game changer, was learning how to collaborate rather than compete with people.
Right.
Understanding that, you can't be all things to all people. And it's even funny, like underneath one roof, I could say something to my kids and it just blows right by. My husband can come and say this exact same thing. And they're like, Mommy, do you know what Daddy said? So just understanding that some people, whether it's the energy or the words that they use or whatever that is, we all have something that makes us unique. And when we learn how to have an abundance mindset of understanding that, there are so many different perspectives, so many different personalities that we can share our network and client base to other people, because at the end of the day, if we're concerned about helping people and serving in the best manner, of course we will want to serve them with something that's going to provide value for them. So that was really a big deal for me to learn that lesson, because I grew up as a high performer and I felt this scarcity about, this is what I have to do to be successful. And there's only one client that's like this. And, afraid that if you let that one go, you're not going to get another one. So you brought up a very good point about understanding that if it's a good fit, that's what matters more than thinking about this person can't be replaced or you don't want to share them with other people in your network.
Yes. Yeah. And like you said,
sometimes it's just, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Carol.
Well, sometimes it's just even for your own peace of mind, for your own health. When I had the modeling agency, I had a scout come in and had a family come. All 5 children were very, very talented. the family was comfortable enough to let all 5 of them pursue their dreams, which it was their dreams. But the mom was so divisive, and she would get in and tell the other mothers, oh, you don't have to do what she says. And, oh, just send go on the internet and find people, send your kids pictures to them. I mean, things like that. That's a danger. And that puts me in jeopardy, all my, and I started hearing rumbles, and the mom was always complaining. And finally I just said, this is not a good fit. I don't think this is going to work out. And the thing is they had done a sizable deposit for each child. I had given the scout half of that deposit, sizable deposit. And, and I just said, here, this isn't going to work. And I refunded all the money. I didn't get the $500 back from the scout, for each one. I ate it, but it just, and I had parents come in and saying, thank you so much. So for the health of yourself and health of your organization, sometimes you have to bite the bullet and just, say, if this is how, refer them to the internet. Here, if that's how you want to send your kids, here's the internet. That's the only person to refer them to at the time. So, and that's not comfortable, and it's not comfortable for your bottom line. But sometimes we have to do that for our own well-being.
It's a part of creating boundaries, recognizing them. And when you go into it, at least in my experience, I'm still learning. But when I went into it, it was because I needed a client. I had no boundaries. Then I ended up with a horrible client. Neither one of us were able to really get anything accomplished. Is that fair? Is that fair to anybody? And, I really don't think it is. And respect and what is authentically right for me is very high. I mean, in my top 5 values. And I have to be honest and keep to my top 5 values in everything that we do. So, but it's a learning experience. So what can I do instead? It's a solution. How do you find the solution? What do I need to do instead? So the next time I don't make that same mistake. And I made another mistake. Oh my gosh, I made another mistake. But what do I do the next time? So that I don't make that same mistake again. And with that, the most recent client I had to say goodbye to, perfect. It was wonderful. They were fantastic. But I was not, they had shifted their goal enough to a point that I was not the right person for them. And my poor client, Carol, looking on the internet, she found somebody else. And I said, she said, but I want to honor our relationship. Perfect client. I love that. But I'm not going to take advantage of you because I am not the coach for you. I know nothing about this, and I do know about it, but I don't want to know about it. So,
Well, I'm going to create a boundary. Well, excuse me, Carol, before you go, I'm going to let you say your piece. I'm going to create a real quick boundary to give the sponsor a little time to say what they have to say. When we come back, we'll hear back from what Carol has to say. And then from that point, we'll go around the room, around the StreamYard room, and see what boundary that you use in your life, and then let people know where they can contact you. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Wonderful, wonderful. If you're just chiming in, this is the Diamond Perspective Panel Live. We come on once a month, Thursday night, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And we are talking about how to do healthy boundaries within our business, with our clients, and in our personal life. Self-care, self-care. So where we want to leave off, because Carol was about to say something very spectacular. So I want Carol to say what she had to say.
Well, I was just going to say that in my situation, sending children's pictures out on the internet, especially in the 80s, to just whoever, I mean, people didn't realize how dangerous it was then. I did. But, it is dangerous. Please don't do that. You don't know what kind of people are lurking out there waiting to hurt you or your children. People know about people trying to scam money, but it's much worse when it's your child and their possible lives. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a huge boundary that everybody should be noticing. So yeah. So what I want to do now, because of the time, I want to go around and start with Karen to give us, maybe your expertise of a boundary that you use. Just one, because I know we all have a lot, but just one. And then let people know how they can contact you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for putting this all together. It's always such a great joy to be with the Queens, and Happy New Year. This is a great new year. And setting up the boundaries is not a bad thing. It's not like I am putting a wall around me and nobody can get by no matter what. It is being from the heart.
Yeah.
Setting the boundary with respect for who you're with and yourself, and speaking always from the heart. And I'll, if I may, just give a quick example of this morning. My husband wanted to do something, and I need to get my last COVID booster. Okay, great. I'll go with you. He's making it all set up. And he said, I'm going to go in on Thursday morning. And I said, and I looked at my calendar and I said, yeah, I could make that happen. Oh, okay, if we do it in the morning. And then I kept looking at my calendar and saying, this is not going to be fun. This is not going to be happy in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to be stressed. I'm going to make everyone else stressed. I have to be honest from my heart and say, honey, can we do it another day?
Right.
And he said, yeah, absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
But that's why I say I'm a recovering people pleaser. But it was wonderful to be able to do that. So that, just doing it from your heart and recognizing what is important for you. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's it. And you can reach me. I have my phone number up here. What I would love to have you do is listen to our podcast, where we inspire and empower women to be all that they can be, to live their awesome life. And I've had a number of people on this panel as my guests, because I have awesome guests. And so come listen to the podcast at www.awesomelifepodcast.com and subscribe. And also, I'm getting into this year doing tips on a regular basis to create that awesome life, to set those boundaries, to release the self-doubt and the worries, and start loving yourself from the inside out.
Great. Thank you, Karen, so much. I'm going to go to Carol next. Give us one tip of your boundary secrets and then how they can contact you.
Well, one of my personal boundary secrets that I've just started doing, because I've not always been great at personal boundaries, and that is, a couple of months ago, my phone started chiming. And when I had the agency, I'd have faxes going off 24/7 because people all over the world, but that's not necessary right now. There's nobody in Japan that's in trouble. And so I should not have my sleep interrupted. For some reason, my phone, I hadn't done it very often before. I've never put a do not disturb on it because I do have children. And it's like started just as I doze off, it ding. And then I'd turn over, and just as I was doze off, it ding. And I couldn't find out what program was dinging it. And so I've started putting a do not disturb on my phone every night. I can sleep. I don't have to worry about it. I do put it where the light doesn't come on because that woke me up one night. But it's like rest has become, it is necessary and it's very important for our health. And that's part of what I teach. And so I've started doing a do not disturb. So that's a personal boundary that I've done.
I like that. I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah.
So how they can contact you?
Yeah. Well, I have Life by Design, and you can get me at Life by Design Carol Henderson at Gmail, or you can reach out. Barbara and I have just officially launched our YouTube channel. We've had 3 podcasts on Facebook for over a year, and we've interviewed some of these wonderful ladies. But you can just go into Google or into YouTube and type in Mavens of Motivation, and we come up at the top. So please go subscribe to our channel. We have several different areas that we talk about, from just our musings in the morning with things like this. And then we have Thoughtful Thursdays where we interview some of these wonderful women. And then we have the Aging Experts where we talk about, what do you do? How do you reinvent yourself? What do you do when you're changing again? And you may need to reinvent yourself at 20 or 30, if you've been doing something and now you're doing something else or wanting to do something else. So please come subscribe and comment and share and reach out to us. We would love to help you in all kinds of areas.
Amazing, like Karen would say. Yes. Just before we get to our other 3 queens, I just want to again to really let everybody know, please listen. A lot of these ladies have their own podcasts, as you say, TV shows. I know you're going to hear from some other ones. America Supermom has one, and Barbara Ellis too. And really just take the time to look at the show, because there's some deep information that you might be like, wow, I didn't know that, or share with others. We're talking about networking. So I just want to put that out there again. So let's go to America Supermom, since I mentioned your name.
Had to get myself off mute because I am America Supermom. Kids in the background, I call them my coworkers. So my grandson has been in and out of my office while we're on this call. But one boundary, and Barbara knows this, that I have instilled is not having a meeting if there's no agenda, because it's a recipe for disaster. I'm a talker, somebody else can be a talker, and it just is not very productive. So it's been about 2 years since I have had that, and it has just worked wonders. But the best way to get a hold of me is I'm on all social media platforms. I think it's so important to talk about our mental wellness. Depression looks different for different people. We need to make the conversation normal. A lot of people feel like it's taboo. So any platform that I could speak on the topic, that's where I am. So you can pretty much find me everywhere. And thanks again for having me, Barbara.
Anytime. I love the queens. Love you very much. And thank you for bringing about the mental health, because it is real and it needs to be sounded out on the rooftops right now. As we know, that's the biggest thing. It's the second pandemic, as they're saying it. So it really needs to be taken seriously. And I always tell people, do the check-ins with each other, even if it's a smiley face, whatever. Check in with your group, who you're around, your friends, family. So let's go to next. Let's go to Renee. Renee, what's a tip you can give us and how they can contact you, lady?
For me, I do what Carol does. I've been doing that for about 2 years now. I turn my phone off at night, and I'm sorry, I'm sleeping. I don't have any kids, and I don't have a husband. There's nobody that needs to call me in the middle of the night. And if they do, they can leave a message, right? Sleep is very important. But I think my biggest one for me would be that my friends know not to contact me during the day unless it's an emergency or it's something really important, because I'm working and I'm trying to get things done. And when I get distracted now, it takes me a little bit longer to get back to what I was doing. So, because I'm busy with research or whatever I need to do for a client. So I think for me, that's one, is just telling people, please don't, leave me alone. But I wanted to say one other thing, and that is when we were talking about setting those boundaries, but is when you have a niche, a particular niche for yourself, sometimes that will also set some personal boundaries because you have a particular type of client you're looking for. So I thought that was something that might be important for someone. But how to reach me? I do real estate, like I said, residential, commercial. I give people a living trust for free if they buy and sell with me. And I also have an insurance license. When we're all done, we can talk about some other things. So I try to be well-rounded, and I've been doing this for a very long time. And the best way to reach me is I'm on all the social medias. And I do have a YouTube. I've started. It's just new. I've only got a few videos on there now, but I want to continue to do more because I think that's a really important thing to do. And I commend all of you ladies that have started, because a lot of people like that way of reaching you. But I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all those things by my name, Renee Bubetz. So that's the best way to reach me. So thank you very much. And thank you, Barbara, very much for having us all. And God bless all of you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Well, thank you, Renee. First of all, thank you for bringing up the fact about the niche, because that was very important too. Because a lot of people, just a prime example, like you say, niche, you might just work with women that are in a certain age group.
Right.
So if you get somebody that is like 20, maybe you work with women that are 40 and up, then you might have to steer them, like we said before, steer them to our network that we know. So that's automatically, without even saying nothing, creating a boundary. So,
right. I think I thought of that earlier, and I wanted to say it, but I thought about it after. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
See, we got so many good nuggets. It's like, this time is like, but thank you. That was good to bring that up, because I think as a business, we need to understand that it's already automatically out there. And going back to what Carol said about your value, I think it was Carol or Karen or both, about your values. That's an automatic boundary to let everybody know. So, but with that, let's go to Miss Barbara Ellison. I don't want to leave her out, my other BB.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always great to come on this panel every month. I think one of my personal boundaries, well, it's like a combination. Your boundary is in your schedule, and who's in charge of your schedule. And there have been times where it's like, ooh, I haven't sat and crocheted for like 3 months. And it was like, oh, well, who's in charge of that, Barbara? Well, I guess I am. So now a boundary that you can set for yourself is that you are not going to go days or weeks on end without doing something that you like to do. Schedule it. And then the other thing that I do, and Carol has noticed this, is that I don't sit unless I'm on something like this. I set a timer that I stand up every 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And right, Carol's nodding her head. It's like, Carol, it's time to stand up. And like because we get caught up in working. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, the other day on the YouTube, we worked from 7 a.m. till midnight.
Like midnight.
Right.
But yeah, almost every hour the timer went off. Oh, Carol, come on, we have to stand up. That's a boundary that you have to honor for yourself.
Yes. So true.
And honor for your health. If
for your health,
you sit too long, and you're going to have some issues.
Yeah, so true. See, now that could be another show. We're going to have to do that for another show. I already see different topics popping up here as we talk.
I want to say one thing that you can get on Google. There's a little, I learned it from a couple of the different mentors that I've listened to in real estate. There's a little cube that you can buy, and they recommend 25 minutes. And every 25 minutes, you take 5 minutes off, and you get up and you walk around, you move, you get some water. And that's a really important thing, Barbara. It's really, because we sit too much. It's easy, you get busy, and I know I'm very guilty of that.
And when I stand up, I stand up and I dance.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Even just do the twist, do that. Just it's like just move your body. It's so important.
Well, with that, what's really important right now too is to get your contact information.
Yeah, Barbara Ellison on Facebook, LinkedIn, and so that's the best way to get in touch with me. Subscribe to our channel. Send a comment. You know, Messenger. You can messenger me and say, hey, Barbara. But on Facebook, I'm Barbara Lunan Ellison.
Okay. Well, I just want to let everybody know all of these wonderful queens. I have all of their contacts. I know all of their podcasts. I know all of their links. So if you didn't hear,
she knows all our secrets.
All y'all their stuff. Okay, if I put it out there, so you can reach me if you want to get to them. So there's no excuse, right? No excuse to do that. Again, I one of the biggest boundaries for me, and a lot of you ladies said so many of the ones I used to, and some that I'm going to add on to my list. But the biggest thing is just love on you. Just love on you. That's there's 2 words this year that I have put out there for myself is creating a better impact, a positive impact for people, and then just loving, just showing the love, because I feel like it's missing in the world right now. There's something's missing there, and we need to start loving each other. Not conditional, like, okay, if I love you, you got to do this, and you love, just love because you're a human being in this earth and you're special. So that's my boundary. And just to say all that, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for coming on the show. This
was great. Thanks, Barbara, for putting this together.
Even if I put the heart up, Barbara's like, okay, yeah, heart. Yes, heart.
How about this?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you
When
go.
you get on a lot of seminars and stuff like that, you get all these fun little tools.
I definitely got to get one of those.
I have a little one too. There
Oh,
you go.
wait a minute. I missed the.
And I want to
We
just
must
add
have missed that
one more quick thing to you, Barbara Ellison, is that I just did a Tony Robbins about not just a few weeks ago, and for 6 days, and they require that you get up every. I don't even know. I don't think there was a set time on it, but every time you get up, you have to dance. You have to move because they said physicality is just as important as everything else.
Yep.
So that's really good. When you said dancing, it made me think of that because we had to do something. We had to get up and move. They jump. I wasn't doing all the jumping, but they move. They do a lot of movement with music and
even just march in place.
I went to.
Well, and Barbara and I go to a thing called Master the Power Within. There is one coming up in April if any of y'all are interested. But this gentleman is probably the best trainer that I've ever sat under, including Tony.
Who are you talking about?
It's called Master the Power Within. It's Brandon Broadwater. And he's very gentle, very baby steps. We do dance every little bit in the thing, but it's Barbara and I went was it August?
Yeah.
And it is powerful. So, and it is open to whoever wants to come and get some of the roadblocks out of the way and learn some wonderful techniques.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure we do. I'm going to make sure we do this boundary. It's been over an hour, so we all do need to get up. So on that note, I'm going to close out. Thank you so much. We'll see you next month in February.
Yes.
Topic and talk to you later. And look at these women. Contact them. Get to them. They got a lot of expertise.
Yep.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.